Well, hello everybody and welcome to Mark's allotment on the 21st of August 2020, I believe. Anyway, so hopefully you'll have seen my previous video. I'll give you a quick tour of the plot, and the one before that, which is explaining why I hadn't put up any videos lately, etc. The last one, as I say, is out of sync because that happened before COVID came in, I believe. So right, I'm just going to turn the camera around. Alright, so at the beginning of the previous video, I believe, you'll have seen I planted out this polytunnel. So apart from the lettuce, well, apart from lettuce and hopefully the sweet corn, everything else was basically a failure. The tomatoes weren't producing flowers or anything, and the beans that I planted weren't coming to anything. Now, the lettuce were okay, but everything else was a total failure. So I basically ripped everything out, and I have now replaced it with green manure, as you can probably see. Now, the reason I think it may be that nothing came very well was because when I levelled this out, obviously I was down to the clay level in a lot of places, so I'm thinking there was not enough goodness in the ground to support anything decent. Lettuce are okay, but anything more decent than that or bigger plants than that, tend not to thrive. Which then begs the question, why did the sweet corn be okay? But there we are. So I got fed up with it and ripped it out, and I've planted green manure. Now, I apologise in advance, but this is probably going to be a long video, unfortunately, because I've got a few things I need to say. Anyway, so from here now then, I'm just going to take you around the plot and bring you up to speed. What's happening, and then we'll sit down and have a little chat. I hope that the wind won't interfere with the sound too much. If it does, I'll have to re-record. So anyway, before I exit the polytunnel, these squash plants, self-seeded, they must have been in the compost or something, or in the soil, but they've just grown out of the soil, and I just left them grow, and as you can probably see, they're doing okay, which proves the point. If you let nature do the work, it tends to work better. Well, that's a theory anyway. So what's going to happen? Right, now when we get really hot weather, this area is lovely, it dries out and it's not a problem, but as soon as you get a bit of rain, it gets like the Somme, really muddy and stuff. So what I've decided, I'm going to plant eventually most of this up with comfrey, because comfrey will enjoy the water, I'm sure, etc. And then I can use that as a source of plant food, etc. As I said, this apple tree will be moved further up because it's too wet for it. Same with the rhubarb, that'll be moved up. That pear tree will stay where it is because I think it's doing okay, so I'll leave him there, or her. Again, raspberries be moved. So basically, let me have a think. From this tree down will be comfrey or something like that. But it's basically it's not easy to plant stuff because it just gets so wet most of the time that it's very difficult to grow stuff here. Well, you can grow it, but everything gets washed out. The goodness gets washed out so quickly that I'm forever feeding the damn stuff. Right, so where are we going? Right, Swedes, they're coming along nicely. What I call Welsh onions. Basically, they're like, you just pick some, put them back in, and they keep growing. More raspberries. Now, I did say I was going to move the raspberries up to the top lot, but actually, I think, having thought about it, it's going to be extra work for me to move them up there, so I may just leave them where they are and put some support here for them. yeah, that's about it. Right, as you can see, this is all green manured, all of this. No, this is a mixture of, oh, I'll come back to the green manure is what I put in, but anyway, green manure. Now I'm thinking maybe the bottom apple tree I'll plant here, at the spot here where the old raspberries were. My junk pile again and my compost heaps. Now then, yes, this is a tayberry which will be moved up. Now I think I said in the previous video that this was going to be a flower area for my wife, and a seating area there. Well, the seating area can be still go ahead, but as for putting flowers here, I don't think I'll bother anymore, because my wife won't be able to come down and enjoy it, so I don't see the point of putting it in. Right, water containers, of course. More. Now there was all broad beans here, so now I've put some green manure in on here. Some more comfrey around the trees. This apple tree this autumn will be chopped down, and I'm hoping I can propagate it in this fashion, a spalia basically. So do the same with this one, because this is producing apples already. I'm really amazed, but there we are. So it'll make it grow away from the hedge, which I think is helping to give it canker and other diseases. But anyway, so that's the plan for that one. I did have peas here, but they came to nothing, so I've been pulled them up. Summer cabbages here and here. I can't remember what in the other video what was here, but something like that. I think these are cauliflowers. Now I did have a swede plant that had gone to seed. Well, I've collected the seed and the plant is out, but you can probably see there's odd where the seeds have dropped down. You've got some swedes popping up, which I hoe whenever I can. My leeks. So I've had to spray them because we have problems with a leek moth down here, so I've sprayed them. A rogue parsnip. I planted loads of parsnip seeds, but they didn't come, and there we are. I got 2 or 3 coming now. Carrots, more green manure in here, cauliflowers, my sweet corn, which I'm now harvesting. They're coming nice, they're lovely and sweet. The only disappointment is they tend to be a bit, the kernels are a bit small, and the cobs are a bit thin, if you know what I mean. I used to grow a variety called Kelvedon Glory, and they weren't quite as long as this, but they were really nice and fat, and the kernels were huge. And you know, when you took a mouthful of sweet corn, you knew you had a mouthful, and very sweet. But it doesn't seem to be, I don't seem to see much of that seed around at the moment. All my Brussels sprouts, and I think in the previous video you will have seen interspersed with broad beans. So as you can see now, the broad beans have been chopped down. So just to clarify, because I don't think I was quite clear enough on the video, but as I say, I planted the broad beans first, and then I let them grow. And of course the Brussels sprout plants were coming along at home, and then what I did, when they were ready to transplant, I cut down enough broad beans in a space to accommodate the plant, and let the others carry on growing. But so they were getting enough light. That wasn't a problem at all. So then once all the broad beans are basically finished, I then chopped the whole lot down, just left the broad beans back, the Brussels sprouts behind, and that's how it seems to work okay. So hopefully now all the nitrogen that was on the roots of the broad beans are now dissolving into the soil, and these are going to make use of them, or make use of it. Right, where are we to here? Okay, this is a fennel, which I'll collect the seeds and put in my herbs, my spice rack. The only problem with fennel It's soft seeds everywhere. It's a damn nuisance. So that's why this autumn I'm going to be digging it out and moving it further up. Right. Now then, a little bit of a change on this system. This is not going to change. This is still the same. So I've planted this. I believe this is the gooseberry bush from down near the Taybury plant that I had on the previous video. So I've transplanted him here, and I've trimmed out all the unnecessary growth, and I'm going to grow him again. A cordon, I believe. I couldn't remember at the time, but it's called a cordon, I believe, and it's going to grow up like that, one up there and one up there, flat. Alright, and it's the same. This is the no, is this the red? Yes, it's the red currant, and that's going to be growing the same way as that. You know, 3 cordons. Sorry about the wind noise. Again, another gooseberry and another gooseberry. I'm going to grow them in a similar way. This is the culinary blackberry, which I'm trailing now along the wires, and this doesn't seem much at the moment, but eventually it'll occupy most of this space, if the one that I got at home is anything to go by. And then in this space where I've got French beans now coming. Well, in fact, I need to pick them really. I've got French beans and runner beans. Yeah, in this space we'll go the Taybury, and it'll grow in a similar fashion to the blackberry. So that's going to go in there. You'll see me put my posts in and the cross members. So I need to put, despite what I said about putting the tension on this, what I may do is I think I've got the wood for it, I may put a support, a bracing piece down here, so that I can actually tighten up the wires a bit tighter. And this is just string in temporarily placed for these bigger ones. And I'm pleasantly surprised that these asparagus are coming quite well. There's another shoot coming up here now. In fact, there's 2 more. I don't know if you can see them. So next year I shall, although I'm not supposed to pick them, I will pick 1 or 2 here and there just to get a taste, because that'll be 3 years then, and they reckon 3 to 4 years is how long you should leave it. So yeah, so the posts are in. I say in this one I show, I just got some soil from around the area and filled it back up, and so well, that's quite solid. And if I put a brace, that'll be okay. Courgettes, well, there we are. They go into marrows now. Just can't. It's amazing. I got 4 plants. I can't keep up with them, so just let them grow. The butternut squash are coming along. Some small fruits coming. Let's have a look. I don't know if you can see it. There's a nice little one coming there. I don't think there's any bigger ones. Yeah, so they're coming slowly. Alright, let's tell you what. I'm gonna let's take that one away, because let you put the goodness into the plant. Right, more green manure both sides. Now, beetroot. Don't know what's going on, but I've had a problem with this. It's not producing bulbs or globes or whatever, for whatever. It's plenty of growth, but it's not producing any decent bulbs. So that may be coming up. More green manure, some green manure there. Right, basically I'm using this bed to produce seed for following seasons, and there we are. So that beetroot is looking nice. I may actually eat that one rather than let him go to seed. Typical. Cauliflower, and carrots. So yeah, Right, okay, I'm gonna just a quick update of everything. I'm gonna pause for a second, bear with me. Okay everybody, and welcome back. So before I start, I just want to show you a little tip I picked up off Gardener's World, and it seems to work. So it's a way of getting the goodness out of comfrey without the smelly bit. For those of you who know, when you collect comfrey and you soak it in water to make a fertilizer, it smells like heck. So I've shown this method and it seems to be working. So bear with me while I show you. Turn the camera around. So it's quite a simple method. Container, dustbin, whatever, preferably that you can put a lid on as well to stop the rain going in. And then the bottom of the, obviously it would suit an old container, but at the bottom of this plastic dustbin I've cut a couple of rectangular holes, not too big, roughly in the middle, stuffed it with comfrey, and I've got quite a large stone that I've put on top to compress it, and over time then that works its way down, of course. And then let's see if it's produced anything. Now I emptied this and then, sorry about the camera, then propped up off the ground. Over time then, there we are, if you can see, produces a nice black liquid, and then I just put that into a storage container, old milk bottle, so that slowly drips into there, and then you just add that to the water, and I think the lady said about 10-to-1 ratio. So it's a 10-to-1 ratio, 10-to-1, yeah, something like that. Anyway, so it's less of a smelly method of doing it. Right. Whew. It's quite warm today, and in here to get out the wind as well, so we can have a quick chat. So, right, I've been umming and ahhing about what to do for the future. So, sometimes I can be, sometimes I'm quite a decisive person. I make up my mind quite quickly and do something, but on other occasions I can prevaricate, forever. If that makes sense. Yeah, anyway. So, right, I've decided to have a rest for 1 year, or for one season basically. Right, what does this mean? Am I giving up the plot? No. I'm not going to give up the plot. Am I going to stop gardening? No. All it means is that I'm going to stop growing things like the annuals, like cabbages, lettuce, carrots, all that sort of stuff. I'm not going to plant it, onions even. I'm not even going to, or garlic, I'm not going to plant it up. I'm just going to take a rest. The other stuff like the blackberries, the raspberries, rhubarb, etc. Yeah, I will carry on with those, of course, and I'll come over and make sure that they're pruned and harvested whenever, etc. But the rest of it I'm not going to bother now. In its place I'm going to plant all the spaces up with the green manures, and I'm just going to leave it, and that will do a couple of things as far as I'm aware. It'll give the ground a rest, and plus it will add organic matter when the time comes. Now then, as someone who does, well, not strictly, but as near as damn it, a no-dig method. Some of you may say, oh, the green manures, well, you've got to dig it in. Well, some would, yes, or if you can't dig it in, then you spray it with weed killer. So that may be the way I deal with it when I commence gardening again. But I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. I mean, I may just dig it in and then restart the no-dig method, but anyway. So that's what I've decided. Now, the reason is, of course, that in one of my previous videos about my wife, so I'm finding it a little, because I got 3 plots, I'm finding it a little bit tiring, quite frankly, to, you know, back and forth. I'm trying to fit everything in, hospital appointments, etc, etc. So that's why I'm taking a break, and hopefully in the next year or season, whichever way things go in the year, it hopefully will be resolved one way or the other. After that, then we'll see how things go. So bear with me, I'm just going to pause for a second. Hello again, welcome back. Right, I had to pause because something came into my mind, so I wanted to clarify it in my mind before I say it. But so yeah, I'm just going to scale it down temporarily for this one season. So later on today, I'll be I've got the green manure seeds already. So from Cotswolds seed, they supply farmers really, but because I got such big patches to fill, you know, the minimum they'll sell it to you is in a kilogram bag. Well, you know, I can use up a kilogram quite easily. So yeah, later on today, as long as it's not pouring rain, I'll come over and seed all the blank spaces, as it were. Well, what I wanted to mention, if you refer back to one of my previous videos where I've put the gooseberry bushes growing as cordons, there's a space in between, I don't know if you saw, and I said I was going to put a rail across. Well, I've changed my mind. What I'm going to do now is I've got 2 rhubarb plants, or crowns rather, so I'm going to put those 2 in that space, and yeah, and that should occupy that space then. So yes, that'll be it for now then. Any questions you want to put to me, or comments, you know, feel free. So but as I said, I'm not giving up. I'm just going to concentrate on the perennial stuff, if that makes any sense. So anyway, but I'll still be putting videos up occasionally, but it won't be probably as much as I'm doing now. Not that I'm doing that much anyway. So anyway, okay, I hope you can see me in the gloom here. Bye for now.